Available light is any damn light that is available. Hello photography fans! Today I would like to talk about American photojournalist, described as perhaps the single most important American photographer in the development of editorial photo essay. The man who shot photo projects so large that they cannot be displayed in any museum. Let's talk about brilliant photographer William Eugene Smith. William Eugene Smith was born in Kansas in 1918. He was given his first camera at the age of 9 since he wanted to photograph airplanes. By the age of 15 he was already published in local newspapers. Unfortunately, his father committed suicide in the year Smith graduated, and when the local news twisted the story about it, it actually inspired him to start his photojournalist career. This event shaped him and his standards for the rest of his life. When he moved to New York, he worked for several magazines such as Life. He was known to be a perfectionist and stubborn. He was even fired from the Newsweek magazine because he refused to stop using his 35mm contacts in favor of larger format negatives that the magazine wanted him to use. When we talk about his work, it's very hard to present his picture in some kind of complete way. He had shot what we would call nowadays a photo essay. He would be assigned to cover a story and he would bring back tens of thousands of pictures to support the story. So even though I know it's not possible to cover every event in his life, I have picked some assignments that I think will demonstrate and show his photography. There are of course other people who might have completely different opinion what's important. That's why I will leave not only the links in description as always, but also interesting videos that I have found, and I'll also covering him from different point of view. Special shout out to Ted Forbes and Magnum website, where he also has his profile. Eric also has nice article. I would recommend you to check out if you want to find out more. I will leave the link in the description. One of the first assignments Smith took was a photojournalist profile of Maudie E. Cullen, who was a trained nurse and midwife in South Carolina. Smith photographed her for 6 weeks during her work when she was taking care of her patients. Deeply moved by her work, he wrote, "No story could translate justly the life depth of this wonderful patient, directional woman who is my subject, and I love her. Do love her with respect. I hold for almost no one." After that, American readers actually donated the money to build her clinic in South Carolina. In 1954, Smith resigned from the Life magazine, mostly because of restriction, and joined Magnum Photo Agency as an associate. His next project was actually to photograph Pittsburgh for picture editor Stephen Laurent's Pictorial History of Pittsburgh. The project that was supposed to take 3 weeks turned into a 3-year project with more than 17,000 images. The book was eventually published as Pittsburgh, The Story of an American City, and Laurent used 64 images taken by Smith. When looking at his photos, we can see contrasts of the steel city: water, land, steel, grass, rich, poor, or resignation of workers. Smith seemed to be a little conflicted when later judging this project. He saw it like a failure as it was unfinished, but also as the finest set of photographs he had ever produced. The Gimbal project is a series of recordings and photographs taken by Smith from 1957 to 1965 at Loft on Manhattan. It contains approximately 4,000 hours of recording and almost 40,000 photographs. The cataloging and preserving his work is directed by Sam Stevenson, the Center for Documentary Studies at Duke University, in cooperation with Center for Creative Photography. I will leave the links in the description as always in case you want to find out more. In 1971, Smith, together with his wife Eileen, stayed in Japan in a small fishing village for 3 years. He helped to uncover the story of Minamata disease, a tragedy caused by mercury poisoning caused by Chiso factory. The factory was spoiling the water sources with heavy metals, which resulted into children being born with disabilities. The photo Tomoko Uemura in her bath became one of the most well-known photographs. The story was published by several magazines and newspapers actually after Smith and his wife were attacked by Chiso company employees and almost did not survive the attack. Minamata was Smith's last big photo essay. From Japan he first returned back to New York and soon after to Arizona to teach. However, he suffered several strokes and died in 1978. Thank you for watching today's episode. It was a lot to cover and I'm sure I did not cover everything. As I said in the beginning, his work is so extensive that it's almost impossible to cover. I will get to some photos of Smith in my series Story Behind This Picture, so you can also check it out if you are interested in more information about him. I hope you've learned something new. If you like the video, feel free to give it a like. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.